Hey guys, today we're going to talk about React Router. This is sort of like a complete guide to React Router, so we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to learn how to create multiple routes, how to route to a specific route using a link, how to automatically redirect to a specific route. Let's say if you haven't logged in and a user tried to go to a specific route, you want to redirect them to a login page. We're going to also cover prompts. So let's say a user is trying to exit the route and they have unfinished business on this page. So you want to say, are you sure you want to move to this route? So there will be a prompt for them to select. And I'm going to take a very simple example to do so. And welcome to techsith tutorials. Alright, so before we start, I just want to let you know that this video is part of a much larger series on React that I've created. If you want to check it out, the entire series from the beginning, you can do so. I'll provide a link here, and it has very basic to a lot of advanced topics. And my objective is very simple. I build a very simple application without any bells and whistles, and then I try to apply that topic without any built-in project. I know a lot of people just do like build a giant project and they try to explain routing within that. I like to do it in a very slim project so you only understand routing. So please check it out. Okay, we're gonna get started here. So I've created this project using create react app. It has app.js and I remove all the garbage from here so we have a clean start. Now if I want to use a router in React, it doesn't come with the default project that you create. You have to install that router library, which is available separately. Unlike Angular, where when you build a project, it has everything inside. React is very slim when you load it, and then as you go along, if you need something, you get it. That's how it works. So we're gonna get that library. And the name of the library is React Router DOM. So the way you would get it is npm install React Router DOM -s save. The -s save would basically create an entry into package.json. So next time if you do npm install, you get the latest version. All right, so it'll take a few minutes to get everything. Alright, so it has been installed. If I go to my package.json, I would see the React Router DOM, which is 4.2.2 here. So it's ready to be used. So first thing I need to do is import that. There's a functionality called browser router. Browser router from React Router DOM. Okay, I don't like the name browser router, so I'm just gonna say as router, so it's a little clean. So in order to use a router, you need to wrap your the main app with the router tag. So here I have to do this router and closing tag router, and so now within boundary of this, I can use a router. I will also need to import route from React Router DOM /route. Okay, so this would give us a route tag that I can use inside. So let's build our first route. So the way you would do it is route. Inside here, I would need to provide a path. Let's say the path equal to slash. It's a default path. And then I need to, would be my content for this route, right? So for that, I can simply use a render method. Within the curly brackets, I can pass an arrow function. And I can say return let's say h1 tag, and here I can say welcome home. So let's compile this project and see how it works. So here if I do npm start, it should compile the project and we would see if it works. Alright, so it loads welcome home for the default path. Now let's say if I want to have another path called about, I can just copy and paste here and create a path called about. And instead of rendering welcome home, it should render about. Okay, so let's see if it does. Now if I change it to about, I get welcome home and welcome about. That is because this path actually uses regular expression to match the path. So if I say /about and /, then it's also matching both. So what I need to do is I need to tell it that I need an exact path. I don't really need to match partially, right? So I would there is a parameter called exact. Now you can actually do this also. This is exactly like this. So this should work, and I should apply this to both. So now when I do about, it's only about, and when I switch this to /, it gives me home. So this is how you can think. Let's say if I have something like this, right? If I provide another / here, if I do about, it works. But I don't want this. I want exactly like if I do this, then only I want this page to be displayed, right? So what I need to do is use another parameter called strict. Okay. So when I use strict, if I use about /, it works. But if I just do about, it won't work. Okay. Now here we're just rendering the content directly inside. But what if we have a component that we want to render here? So let's create a component called user. So I'm going to create a stateless component. I can say const user equal to, it's an arrow function, and all it does is it returns h1. Here it would say welcome user. Now let's create a third route called user. So I'm just going to copy the entire thing here. And this would be like this, user. We can keep the exact strict same as it is, but instead of render, what I want to do is I want to render a component. So I would simply say component equal to, inside I would say user. Okay, so now if I do user, it would display user, which is coming from component. Okay, this is quite plain, so we need to do something more dynamic. So here I have a user. So what I need to do is pass a user parameter here. So instead of this plain user path, I want to have an argument, which would be a user name. Okay, and so then when I use it, I want the username to be showing up inside the user component here. So it should say welcome user. Let's say if I provide John, it should say welcome user John or welcome user Peter. Okay, so that's what I want. Now it doesn't work because we said exact and strict. So now our path doesn't match. But if I do, let's say Peter, then it works. But I still need to get this Peter here, right? So what I need to do is here I would get match that I pass here, this username, and I can use this match dot params dot user name. Okay, so let's see if it does. So now if I pass Peter, it gives me Peter here. And if I change it to, let's say, John, it would give me John here. All right, so right now I have to, type it here, which is fine. I can still do it. But in a practical example, I would need to have some sort of link. So if I click on a link, it should load that page that is associated with that path, right? So for that, we need to import link here, which is part of the React router DOM. So let's create those link here. All right, so to create a link, we would simply do link, and then we would name the link. Let's say call home link. And this has a one parameter called to, which is when I click on the link, where do you want me to go, right? So the path, let's say for home, should be slash, and I can create another link called about. When I click on it, it should go to about page. Okay, let me wrap it with a UL so it looks a little bit nicer. All right, so let's see how it renders. All right, so I have two links. Right now, I'm on home page. So if I click on home, I am at the home. If I click on about, okay, so about is not loading. Why is that? Because if you look at it, about has a strict, and it has to have exact, means it has to have a slash. I'm just going to remove the slash from here so it matches with my link. So now if I click on home, about, it switched backs and forth. Also, let's create two more link for John. For user, I would say user slash John. All right, so I have four links now. Home, about, user John, user Peter. So if I click on this, did I make a mistake? So I need to put Peter here, sorry. So now if I do Peter, John, about, home, they all work fine. Though I need to add some style so that when I click on a home, I know which link is active. Now you can add some classes and styles, and then you can do all kind of stuff, but React Router provides a neat trick. So instead of link, there is a Nav Link. So if I use Nav Link and I replace all the links with Nav Links, I can provide styles, so when it's active, it should be specific styles. All right, so if I run it, it won't make any difference yet. I still need to add some more property. So I need to say active style, which means when this link is active, when I click on it, it should have a specific style so that I can differentiate. I would know which one I clicked on, right? Which one is currently active. I'm just going to add some color equal to, let's say, green. But I still need to have actually as an object here. So now let's look at it if it really works. So I only have it for the home. So if I click somewhere else, it's not working. Okay, so let's add this to all of our links so they behave the same. All right, so if I go to home, if I go to about, so the funny thing is they all except home, when I click on it, it actually becomes green, and when I click on something else, it becomes blue again, right? Except home. And that is because inside here you also need to have exact, because it's also about the path, right? So I have to say exact here equal to true, and for all of the links. All right, so now I'm at the home. If I go to about, the about is now green, then John is green, then Peter is green. You see? So now it works consistently. All right, and let's do something more important now. So usually when you go to a home, you have some sort of login page, you log in, and then you have access to all the other pages, like, you know, user pages, about pages, right? Now, what if user haven't logged in and they just go to a user page directly by just going to URL? Then you want them to go back to the login page, right? You want to restrict the access to that page because they haven't logged in yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to build a login page here, but instead I'm just going to have a state with which says either I am logged in or not. And I can have a button that would toggle it to so that I would logged in and not logged in, right? All right, so here I'm going to create a state equal to, and I would have a property called logged in. And let's say it's false initially, which means I am not logged in. And then I can create a button here. Let's do underneath this UL here. So we have input type equal to button and value equal to login. And it would have some sort of an on-clicked event that would toggle the status of logged in. Okay, so I would have on click equal to, and here I would have some handle. So let's create a handle first. So I'm gonna call it a login handle, and it's a function. And what it does is it would set state, this dot set state, and it would simply say login equal to true, right? Okay, I can use that here for login. I can use that, so I can say this dot login handle dot bind this. Okay, so now I have this login button. So if I click on it, well, it doesn't do anything. But let's see if I have if I try to route to user John or user Peter or about, it should prevent me from logging. It should prevent me from going to the route because I'm not logged in, right? And once I click on login, once I'm logged in, then it should enable that feature. So here I need to also import redirect that I can use here. And let's say for the username, I want to redirect. So instead of routing to a component, what I'm going to do is render this, and inside I would have, now here I can check the state first. So if this dot state dot logged in, if that's true, then I want to render the user component, right? So I would simply say user, else I want to redirect, and this has a parameter called to. We want to know where you're redirecting to, and we're just going to redirect to the home page. Let's say right now I'm not logged in, right? Because by default that logged in state is false. So if I click on user John, it won't actually take me anywhere, or Peter, right? Because it's checking if I'm logged in, then only it would allow me to go to that. Now let's say log in. Once I log in, I can go to that route. Oh, there's some issue here. Oh, okay. The problem is now remember before we used to simply pass the match into the component. Now we haven't, so we need to do that. So here what I need to do is I need to pass match here, and then I can say pass username equal to, match params dot user name, and here in the user component I need to, instead of match, I would simply use params. So I already have one param, this username, right? So I can say params.username. That's all we need. So now initially I won't be able to go to this route. Once I log in, then I can, oh, what? Match a parameter. Ah, it should be. So now it should work. So let's log in, and you should be able to go to user and peer. But this login is annoying because it's not changing its status, so let's fix that. So instead of just setting state to log in, what I can do is I can use the previous state. I would say logged in is previous state dot logged in. But I want to toggle it, so I would just say not. So every time I click on it, it would change the login status. So login, log out, login, log out. All right. And also what I need to do is here, instead of input the value being login, I want to check if I'm logged in, then there should be log out. So here I can say this dot state dot logged in, then I want to say log out, else I want to say log in. All right, so now it should work properly. So now initially I cannot go to these routes. If I click on it, it says log out now, which means I'm already logged in. Now I can go to these routes. Now if I say log out, so now I'm logged in, you can see it already redirected me to the home, and I cannot go anywhere. So the next feature is, let's say I'm in a form page or doing something, some process or something which is incomplete, and now user clicks on to go to another route. Then you want user to stop it from doing it, or at least ask user, say, are you sure you want to do this, because you know your process is still incomplete, because it could be done by accident. And user can choose if you want to continue or not, right? So let's do that. So for that we need to import prompt. All right, now let's do a simple prompt here. Prompt. It has a parameter called when. Okay, so when do you want this to be prompted? So let's just do, if I'm not logged in, and if user tries to go to the user route, then I want to stop them. If this dot state dot logged in, so if it's not logged in, so there should also be a message. So message should be are you sure? This is just a string. Right now by default it's not logged in when you first open the page. So now if I go to route, it says are you sure? Now if I say cancel, then it would cancel out and won't go anywhere. Same thing with the Peter. But let's say if I decide to say okay, then I'm getting another prompt. That is because it's not checking which page I'm routing to, because I'm rerouting back to the root page. Then there's another prompt, because it's not checking which route I'm going to, right? So for the message, instead of just putting a simple message, I can have a function that checks if I'm going to user route, and then only it should prompt, otherwise it should not prompt, right? So here for that I'm gonna have a location argument, because this would be the path, right? And I can say return, let's say location dot path name dot starts with, let's say user, then what I want to do. Well, then if it starts with a user, then I want to have that message. Are you sure? And if it's not the user, then true. True means, don't prompt this message. Okay, another typo. All right, so now let's say if I click on here, actually it's supposed to be starts with. That's why. So if I go to this one, it says, are you sure? Are you sure? If I go to home, about, it lets me do it. Here it says, are you sure? If I say okay, it won't give me a second prompt because when it's rerouting to home, there is no need to check it again. Before it was giving me 2 prompts, now it gives me 1. Alright, so we covered quite a bit. Alright, so this is pretty much how router works in React. I'll upload this project to my GitHub site and provide a link in the description so you can check it out. You can clone it and find and work on it. And I hope you learned something from this tutorial. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and provide a nice comment. Don't forget the nice comment. And you can also support the channel via Patreon if you want to, or you can translate this video. I'll provide the link in the description. And don't forget to check out the playlist on this React tutorial series. This might be helpful to you. And thank you.